Hey guys, welcome to the stream. It's day 82 and today we are going to be having a look at our new animations, etc. for our hunting with our bow. Now, I've been informed there's a couple of little bugs that we need to have a look at, so we're going to help out and have a look to see why those things are happening. So we are probably going to have to do this in the editor to get a better idea. But in the meantime, we are going to open this up and have a look. Okay. Oh, we're tired tonight. Hope you guys are okay out there in YouTube land. We shall obviously see our HISM in action here once it actually loads. Is it? Apparently it's not. Ah, it's because it's in standalone, that's okay. Okay, so now you can see we have the quiver and the bow. If we do that, we pick out our bow. Now, what I was told was that if you press the first button, it doesn't do anything. Okay? But when we press it a second time, let's have a look if it actually fired. You see it fired one, right? So basically our first button down is not functioning. Okay, now you can zoom in and fire. Okay, we can go and check this. Now there is an arrow there, you can see it. Okay, but we need to find out what is going on with our left click on our pawn to see why it's not firing on the first attempt. Okay. So we're going to load up our pawn. And what we're going to do here is this fire arrow. So we're going to add the breakpoint here. Then we're going to do it in the selected viewport. Okay, now I think this might be because... No, maybe not. Let's just check it and find out, shall we? Right, here we go. Right, so we're definitely firing. We've definitely got a bow. And we're notched. Right. So can fire is false. So that's why okay. So that seems to be the problem. Okay. So we basically need this can fire and find the references. Okay. So it would appear to me right, we're setting it there. We're setting it there. And there must be something that, yeah, we're doing it there. Right. So fundamentally can fire should be true by default. Right. And in fact, maybe we shouldn't. Maybe we should, when we escalate and de-escalate, right? So this is equip bow. Right? And that's montage. That says need reload. And this is first load. se ve eso?
No sé más o menos qué horas. ¿No importa? O sea, sí, pero no importa, ¿no? ¿Qué? ¿Sí?
Okay. So basically, we set can fire to true here. So when you first come in and do your thing, it should set this to fire or can fire. Okay. So let's have a look at that. And I'm going to delete, once we know that these go away, actually there's two checks I want to do here. I want to do a check, there's two checks I want to do. Number one, I want to check the draws without this. Right, you'll notice that all of them have disappeared. Right, so if we do, oh, did I press the wrong button there? Damn it. Sorry about that. Okay. Now the reason it's taken so long to load in is because of these 3,646 meshes. Okay. But what I really want to do here is check and say start unit. And we want to get the draw calls number. Right? And it's 1,000. Now 1,000 is not bad because you can do up to about 2,000 on the consoles and up to 3 to 5 on PC, so it's not actually that much of an issue. Okay, but what we want to do now is do the exact same thing no worries, quite abandoned. I've missed a couple, not a full day, but I've missed a couple of streams, and it's basically just been because I've been doing profiling and boring stuff that is just not going to be in the slightest bit informative or entertainment. It's just basically me scratching my head. So yeah, you never need to apologise for missing a stream. There's two of us, Archer, or however you want to say it. There's two of us. So if we do this one now, I want to see. Now we're around about 1,000 draws, okay? So we're going to have a look at the draws here, and then we're going to actually test what we just did, which is hopefully load it in. Right, so we're on 470 draws, and that is absolutely wild. It's hard to describe. It's a bit like Long Dark, but it's got some horror, mild horror elements to it, with, I would say it's a survival exploration thriller with touches of crafting and inventory management like Long Dark, but also, as I said, it's not like Long Dark, but it's the best comparison I can give. And yes, there's a story. You are basically trying to find your family. Now, I don't understand that, right? Because our HISM should be dropping the number of draws, right? Not increase the number of draws, which reminds me, let's bring up our HUD, right? So I do not understand that. Although having said that, our draw, well, 100 days isn't, well, I suppose we're pretty good for 100 days. You can see there that our draw is absolutely nothing. It's like 0.5, right? It's nothing. So what we're going to do is we're going to run it in standalone. Right? And if we run it in standalone, it is much more efficient and gives us a better idea of what's going on. Right? But you can see our draw is absolutely sod all. Right? Which means it's all on something else. Right, but we're not doing profiling tonight, right? That's not the point. I'm just taking a couple of snapshots just to get an idea of how the test map is performing. Yeah, that was always there. It's just I've redone the design. Well, I got the design off my colleague and implemented it into a widget and then got it all working. So yeah, most of the system was already there. It just looks a bit different now. Right, so, right, he hasn't implemented that. So, right, we want stat unit. And that's really weird. Because now our draw is at 15. Right, and if we do stat FPS, you can see that we're topping 60. Right, and it's not our game time, it's our GPU time. Now, here's the interesting part. Now, if I press that, now that seems to double, don't ask me why, and we fire, then we put our bow away, And there you go, we got our, look at that, that was a bullseye. Okay, we can pull out our bow again. Okay, I see what she's doing there. And what you can do is you can zoom in. Then boom. Okay. Then you can put your bow away. And it's running pretty well. We've fixed the bow thing. It is doing it that, it's not doing it twice, right? If you look at it, what it's doing is, it's pulling out the bow and then it's notching an arrow. Right, if you do that, see, bow, arrow. Right? And we've still got to work on this, where it kind of points to where you're going. Right? Like this one, where it does its thing. Don't even know what that is, right? But yeah. And there we go. I don't know what you mean by that. Right, but we're doing our reloads and stuff. I would say it does need a little bit of tweaking, but it's looking good. And I just don't know why. If you look at what kind of debug commands do you want, I don't understand. Debug, you use your breakpoints. Yeah, there's lots of them. There's a gajillion. Right, if you watch. Right, I'm going to go to selected viewport again. Sugar, I meant to delete all those static meshes so it doesn't take as long to start. Now I'm also wondering if right. What was I going to look at there? Can't remember. Right. Resume that. And we missed. That was a strange one. Right, we can basically disable that, resume that, and that's fine. Yeah, no, that's what I was doing to bring up the game stats, these things here. Yeah, that's exactly what I was doing. Right, for example, damn it. Press the escape key instead of that one. Yeah, you can do all sorts of stuff. It just depends what you're looking at. There's lots of debug stuff. Right, so like for example, yeah, it's a completely different system. Unreal Engine 5 uses Unreal Insights. Right, it is the same information basically, but all you need to do is hit a tilde key, right, and I can switch those. Right, see these numbers on the right here? Right, I don't know why I've lost control. Ah, it's because I've got that one, right. Okay, so you'll see these numbers on the left hand side, or sorry, the right hand side. Right, you can switch them on and off, right? Or alternatively, you can do a profile GPU, right? And that's going to bring up this window here, and that will show you what is taking all the time in your GPU, right? So then you can basically do duration, right? And we know that it's this one that's taking all the time, so we can drill into that, right? Then we can go down to the bottom of this to find out, well, this one thing, 2.9 seconds, is taking all the time, right? So we can just have a look to find out what that is, and I know what it's going to be. It's ultra dynamic sky, right? Okay, so basically if we remove ultra dynamic sky, then that would disappear, right? But we'd have to use the other sky that we're currently using in the other map, and I can't remember which one it is. So basically I would have to set it up the same. So for example, if I do ultra dynamic sky, right, and delete it and just say yeah, go for that. Okay, and you'll notice now, right, if I do profile GPU, right, we are basically down to nothing. It's the world tick now that's causing the issue, if indeed there is an issue, which there's really pretty much not. Right, the only thing that's causing an issue is this render target, which we know all about anyway. So I'm not going to get particularly upset about it. Right, it's this render capture accumulation. Yeah, everything's dark because I took away the sky. Right, so the sky isn't there anymore. If I stop it, right, you'll see it's back, because basically it's back. Okay, I only deleted it within the instance of the game, but what we've done there is we've fixed our fire fixed this. So all I need to do here is send this to my colleague. Okay. Right, so now that we've sent that off to our colleague, we can carry on and do some more stuff. Don't know what we're going to do, mind you. If anybody has anything they want to go over, then please do so. Right, so what we're going to do is you'll see I added an absolute crap ton of these. Right, and if I select that, then delete that, right, it's going to go a crap ton faster. Oh, you missed me doing some C++ yesterday, quite abandoned. Right, because what you can do is, I can do that again for you if you want, as a little bit of practice, but you'll notice now that our game will load a heck of a lot quicker. There you go. You see that? And yeah, it's going to be super slow because it's in the editor, and the editor doesn't. Well, I mean, the point is here, what I'm going to have to do is we use a separate version, right? So I don't really want to mess with this, but I can show you how you do it, or I can wrestle with it, because I haven't. Well, I used it yesterday and I got it working, but I'm not an expert on it, and it's a while since I used it. But the way I tend to use it is to write like helpers for calculations, because calculations in blueprints is pretty slow, right? So if we go to this version, this is the nuke version, where I basically am allowed to nuke things completely out it to test if something is affecting performance or not. Right? And right, you'll notice here we have, right, wait a minute, I'll explain this to you rather than go through it again. It's easy enough to write another function, but if we do this, make it be a bit bigger for you, right, you'll see here that I've created C++ classes, Groenland and helper, and it's got this, okay? And what it basically does, I can show you what it does. That's kind of the easiest way to do it. If we go to infinity weather and displacement, and then blueprints, and then capture, right? Get this open. Then I'll show you what it looks like in a blueprint, and then I'll show you the actual C++. Right. And again, this was me playing about with it, but it's in here when we update, right? Now, this is it here. The original code did this. Okay? So it was basically the capture, these are vector 2's, right? So it's this vector 2 minus this vector 2 multiplied by the world area size and 1 minus the world capture scale multiplied by 5, and then add those two together to give us a value, right? And similarly here it does the exact same thing, except it gets this ground capture, then we get the vector, we get this location, so that's a texture 2D, and we basically make a linear colour out of that. But what I have actually done is, so this would be going in here, right? And it would have to do the blueprint and calculate this, which is inherently slower. And then this, it would have to make this linear colour, which would go in here. So instead, what I've just done is written a CPP helper displacement, which returns both of these and calculates both the texture space location and the texture space. Okay, now if I double click on this, it'll probably open it. Maybe it won't. Okay, well, we'll just do it this way then. If we just go here and open Visual Studio, okay, and we've got two functions. We only use the first one, right? So this is us telling it what our functions are, and basically this is what the functions actually do in here. And basically this here right, wait for it, come on. Visual Studio and C++ really slows things down in the editor. Right, so this part here, this calculation in C++ is this. Okay, that's it. And this part here is this. And that's it, really. Now, we can actually make this even better, right? Because this thing here, comp vector z, right? Well, all we need to do is call that comp vector z, right? And it's not going to be a vector, it's actually just going to be a float, and I'll show you why in a second. Right, so if we go back to our header, we'll make that a float, and that's going to be comp vector z. I'll show you exactly why in a moment. Right, and we need to go back to our CPP, and all we need to do is go comp vector z, that's fine, save that, right, and then basically we can build it. Okay, you can do anything that's in the blueprints, you can do it in C++. It's just obviously, I mean, I can get functions and stuff working. I can do a bit if I start working at it again. I can do enums and lists and stuff, but as I said, I've not done it for about a year. So yeah, there's that. But we just got to wait on this completing. Sometimes takes a while to compile. It depends on which file you change. If you're just changing the CPP file and the code in it, it's normally fairly fast. But if you're changing headers and stuff, then it can take a minute or two. Oh, I've actually changed the wrong thing here. That shouldn't be that. That should be that. Right, and that's fine at that. Right, so build, cancel. Right, then we'll save all that again. Right. Build. Right, now, when that's done, and you'll hear it, well, yeah, you'll hear it go ding or something. It makes funny noise anyway, right? But what we're doing is this comp vector thing. So this is now going to be wrong, right? But that's okay. Right, because actually what we want to do is we want to break this vector, and we're just going to put this float into here. Well, it not including coding at all is a bad thing. Right, because the more options you've got, the better. Simple as that. Right. What's it doing? Comp vector. Yep. I'm a goofball. Just that's a float. Right, this is the problem. You make one little mistake and it basically, you have to go back to rebuilding it. Oh god, I've done it again. You see what I mean? One little syntax error. Once you get used to using C++ or any particular thing. Right, what's going on here? Right, I'm guessing. Comp vector z. Right. Okay, so we've made an ass of this, basically. Yeah. Don't know how that changed. Right. And this is called comp vector z. Right. Build that. Right, hopefully we've not screwed it up. As I said, it's been a while since I've been doing this, so... Yeah, I know all that quit. Yeah, actually, funnily enough, yo, just found a new code or some sort of debug, but it's all F4. Oh, yeah, quit, yeah. Red Mellow, do you not think I know what Alt F4 does? Are you off your head? Can we all now just make a fool of Red Mellow? For thinking that people who have been using computers for 40 years don't know what Alt F4 does. So, everybody in the chat, make a fool of Red Mellow because he's a fool. Right, so you can see here, build 1 succeeded, 0 failed. Now, normally what I do is I now compile it in. We just hit compile, it says compiling. Then once it's compiled, we'll refresh this. This will turn into a float. Yeah, not the brightest cookie. Not the brightest cookie in the jar. I don't know why he just didn't say, see if you press the big button that switches your computer on and off. You know, that brings up debugging. Isn't that great? As I said, not the brightest. But we'll let him have his little joke. Yeah, next you'll be typing over something like bend over, and we'll all be laughing hilariously. We'll all be falling, rolling around. Right, as you can see, this is one of the downsides of C++. It sometimes takes quite a while, even to do 2 lines of blooming code. Right, but at the end of the day, all we're going to do is plug this in once that's finished, once that actually does something, and then we'll be refreshing this. You'll see it change, this one changed to a float, and then we can just plug this in and that'll be it. It'll all be working again. Yeah, it just takes a while, right? Especially when you first start on C++. It seems to basically take its time. I actually don't think I needed to compile that. What you can do is, it's just the way I do it, right? And it normally doesn't take this long, but you know, what the heck. And I think it's set up to hot reload and stuff, which you don't really want to use either, because that causes problems. But anyway, normally you either compile it here, or you compile it in here. You don't really need to do it in both. I just do it in both out of habit. Right? Now, you'll notice now, if I go back in here, and then I refresh this, you'll notice this is now comp vector z, which is what we changed in the C++, right? So if I plug that in, that's now going to do the exact same thing, except we're not breaking the vector inside the C++, which maybe we should do, but it doesn't really matter. Right, we could even pass this variable in as a scene capture, then get the world location and break the vector, right? Now, I'm just wondering if we can actually do that scene capture component, right? That might be a wee bit more complicated, right? But we'll see what we can do, because normally what you've got to do is, we might have to add it, not necessarily in here, but we might have to add it in our, basically in here, right? I can't really remember. Might need to add it in both. So it would be, I can't remember what the naming conventions are for this, but it's like you do there, it's there, you scene component, right? Then you would do like SC, like in this case it would be ground. I'm just going to spitball this, right? I'm not actually going to do it, but I'm just showing you what it would look like, right? So then we would copy that, or in fact we would copy this. I wouldn't do it in this order, I'd probably do it in here, but we're not really doing this anyway. We've got this on Nuke version, so this isn't the live version. So basically you would just paste that in there, right? And you're probably going to have to add it. Right, let's see if it's actually, you see how it's not blue? Right, well that's because I think I need to do an include file up here, right, which I can't really remember how to do it. Right, so I would have to then, this is exactly what I'd have to do. I'd have to go and Google it, right? I would have to go use scene component UE4, right? And then we'd go at this, then we'd have to add an include file, which hopefully it's going to tell us. Apparently it's not going to tell us. Give me a second. Alright. Apparently Apparently that's okay the way I've done it. It might need an include file though, right? That's my only thing on it. So if we say, let's say sc ground dot as I said, I've forgotten how to do this. There's another way to do this as well. You don't do dot, you do something else which I can't remember what it is. Right? So I would have to do another using component include and it's not mentioning anything here about an include file for it. So in theory that should work. Right? But we're not getting any tool, what do you call it when it does that? So basically what we could say is we could copy that, right? And we could paste that. We could say equals dot is it get, I think it's get component location. Right, and we can probably do that, and then probably do that, and then probably do that. Then probably do that, and there you go. So I don't need that at all, right? All I would need to do is pass this in instead of this, right? So, as an example, once again, right, we can just basically say float comp vector z equals that. Then we can basically remove this. Okay. We can save that, then we compile it, right? And now we can actually delete these. Okay. So you can now see that our code is becoming tidier and tidier as we go, right? Now again, we could use something, if we know what these actors are and stuff, we could actually do it as part of the C++ if it's... I just try to tend to keep it simple and basically do the calculation so that can get deleted, right? Now, as I said, and this is probably the best way to do it if you're just learning. Right, because you, and this is actually, as well as that, this is how basically Epic tell you to do it. how to convert blueprints. You just do it piece by piece. You know, you don't try to do the whole blueprint, you just gradually move things across. Right, so basically I can show you this in the original version, and then I can show you it in this version. And you can decide for yourself what is actually the tidiest. And I'm not going to say which is the most performative, because this is, right? The C++ version is. I know that for a fact. Right, but what we can do is we can do that. Okay. And the compile has failed, which is awesome. Oh yeah, this is text space here, right? Okay, whatever. Right, save that. So what we've got to do is find out where the hell it screwed up by building it here now. Right, let's just do this the right way. Oh, bollocks. Right. So what we're going to do, and that is goddamn annoying when it does that stupid shit. Right. So we're going to cut that. Then we're going to paste it in there. Right. We're going to copy that. We're going to save that. We're going to go to here. We're going to paste that, comma, take that out, paste this in here, and take that out. What? What are you doing? Right. So we can save that. And we can build. Okay. And yeah. Oh, what the heck? Right, okay. I think we need to do that. And possibly there. This is where, as I said, I've forgotten all the stuff about C++ that I could do. So I'm basically, in front of your eyes, I'm learning the whole thing again. So this wasn't the best thing to do, theoretically speaking. Right, how's it going? Seems to be going. Yeah, I'm getting to the need to relearn some of this. And doing it in front of you guys is probably not the best way to do it. So, I'm going to put this back. It's actually this one here. Right, but we can just basically do that. To get it back, we can just do that. Right, and then go in here. As I said, I'll need to do a little refresher on myself to remember how to do this stuff. And then compile. And we basically need to get the world location. Yeah, it was my play around. It was my play around project, my beginner project is what it was. It's up on Game Jolt. It was basically how I learned Unreal Engine, is what it was. I was practicing what I preach, which is basically to learn Unreal Engine, pick a game that you're absolutely 100% familiar with, that is within your capabilities, and try and copy it. And that is a copy of a game from like the 80s, but it obviously looks a lot better in Unreal Engine. Hey, Sugan dear. I'm sure something's awesome. Don't know what is awesome, but I'm sure it is. I want this just to go away now because, as I said, I need to start remembering how to do C++. I would have to refer to a previous project where I did a lot more C++ stuff, so I could refer back to that to get an idea of how to reference the different components and actors and stuff. Right, this is taking bloomin' forever. Right guys, what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly run to the shop. I shall be back in a minute. This is taking its time anyway, so chat amongst yourself, don't go anywhere, I'll be right back. Okay guys, we're back, sorry about that. But it looks like this is done. And we've got SC ground now, which is right. Plug that in and we're good to go. Okay. So, yeah. So that was all to do with displacement, right? And now when we run it, we have converted a couple of calculations in the displacement that actually does it. I don't listen to any music or anything, it's silence when I'm sitting here doing this. Right, I hear game sounds enough without having to hear them all day. Right, so we're going to do this in selected viewport. So all the sound effects, the music, everything from the game, I don't actually hear it. Right, this is a different setting for our but we should see that our displacement is still working perfectly. But now some of the displacement is done in C++. Okay? We can see the displacement there, but we do the calculations in C++ instead of a blueprint. Yeah, it's stormy, you can see it. It's actually the snow. It's just the default sky with thunder and everything set. Right, as I said, it's a nuke version. Right, where I just threw things in to test them. You can see all the falsies and stuff where I'm doing testing, but yeah, it's all working nicely. So what we can do is we can get out of this. You'll see that it's absolutely going mental because this isn't actually streaming anything. Well, it is, but it's not streaming what you think it is. So we can go back to our proper version. We can close this down. Right, but this is how you do the C++ stuff. Now, under normal circumstances, you'll be doing more than just this. You'll be creating loads of different functions and stuff. So basically, you won't be changing one thing and then building it and then changing one thing and building it. You'll be writing complete functions, or 2 or 3 at a time, and then building it. So it's not quite as bad as you think. Right, but it was just because you asked about doing C++ stuff, and that is how you do it. Right, actually, the funny thing is, I'll show you how to actually create a C++ class. I'm not going to actually do it, but I'll show you how to do it, because I don't want to mess up our actual project yet. Right, so we'll close that down, we'll close that down, we'll cancel that. Right, now what I did there was make that a blueprint function library, right? So that basically everything could see the functions that I exposed in the C++ class. Right, so if I wanted to do that, all I do is come in here and say new C++ class. Right, if you never create a C++ class, then you won't actually be able to open the C++ project. You actually need to create a C++ class first. So if you click on that, it'll bring up what type of actor or component that you want it to be. Right, so for example, I used this one, right, and then you would just click next, blah blah blah, and rename it to whatever you were calling it, and that's it. Right, so if you're creating like a it's slight, actually, you know what, I'm going to show you. Right, I'm going to not use this, right, because this is a little more complex, right, but this is basically, right, if I wanted like some C++ for a monster, right, say I was doing some wacky crazy calculations for a monster, right, well, what you can do is I'll go to the Nuke version again, right, so basically I'm going to create, like, let's say a helper class for a monster, right? So what I can do is if I go to here and say create class, right? Now it's going to be an actor, right? Because we know that the monster is an actor, okay? In fact, it's actually a character, right? So we'll do that. So we do next, right? And then we can say monster, right? And we can say CPP monster helper. Now, if it was the actual monster, then we would maybe not call it monster helper, we would call it CPP base monster, right? So you press add code to project, and this is where it screws up, and then I have to do a couple of things, and I don't know why it does this, but it seems to always do it to me. Right, it'll do this, and it will say, yeah, everything's great, man, and then it will fail, and then it will say it's done everything except you need to recompile it yourself. Come on. Right, see what I mean? Failed. Successfully added class, however you must recompile it. Would you like to open the output log? No. Right, so we just cancel that, right, and then what we do is we go back to here and we open Visual Studio. Right, and I know what's the problem here, it gets confused about the directories, right? So what I've found is I've got to do basically one thing and then recompile it. Right, so that's going to load this up again. Right, now we've obviously got our helper displacement, but now we should have monster. You can see it there. So we can open up monster, then we can open up the H file and the CPP file. Right, so we've got monster helper. Right, now you'll notice there's a bit more to it now. Right, it's now got the basics of basically a character. Right, then you'll notice that it's added the character. Okay, and if we look at the CPP, it's got the tick stuff. Now super is just the same as parent tick or parent begin play. Right, this is what super is. Super is parent. Okay, so I believe to fix this all we need to do is do that. Right, and then build it. Okay, now this is where things get interesting. Okay, once this actually works, so you can see here, set this character to call tick every frame. We don't really want that. We could actually set this to false, but it doesn't matter for there it's succeeded, so we're good. Now what we want to do here, right, is we can say u function, right, and say blueprint callable, right, and we can say void do a thing, close that, do that, right. Then we can right click on that and we can say, I don't know why this isn't working, right, because normally you can do quick actions, create declaration definition, right. No, it's just for some reason this should work and it'll create the the function, and there you go, right, and it wasn't doing that earlier for some reason. It's just, it seems to be that this tooltip helper thing is pretty slow, right. I know there's different ones you can get, right, so this is now going to be in our CPP helper, right, and we can basically put our code in here, but we're not gonna. All we're going to do is we're going to say build, right, because this isn't the point I'm trying to show you, right. This is the interesting point coming up. Right, so we just need to wait on it. doing its thing. Shouldn't be too much longer now. Come on. And there we go. Right. So, here's the fun part, right? If I was to go into monsters, right? And what I can do is I can create a blueprint class. Okay? And then I can say CPP monster helper, right? And if you'll notice, it's a character, right? If I open that blueprint up, right, it's going to look the same as any other. Lack a mark. It's going to look exactly like a character, right? But we've given it a base class in C++. So we can write the code now in either the blueprint or the C++. You'll see here, right, there is our thing. So we can bring in the mesh in here and we don't need to worry about it in C++, right? But here is where the fun starts. If I go to here, right, what I can do is I can say do a thing, which is in, you'll notice if we zoom in, that's it, zoom up, wait a minute, we'll refactor this for you guys, right, widget reflector. So if I do 1.3, right, so now we've created a character which could be a monster, right? But we can do a thing. Okay? Now you'll notice, it's not here anywhere, right? This function is not anywhere. Except here it is. So we can call our C++ class. Right? So normally now, and I didn't set up the current project we're working on, but now what I do is if I'm going to create a player controller, right? What I do is I create a C++ controller, and then I child my blueprint controller off my C++ controller. Right? Now, you can sit there and do nothing, okay? You can never have any code in here, right? And you can switch off the ticks, etc, etc, right? But if you do it that way, the C++ is always ready waiting on you when you want to do it. Yes, there's things in C++ that you can't do in blueprints, okay? Everything in Unreal Engine you can do in C++, but there's some things that you can't do in blueprints, okay? So what I would normally do was, if I was creating my monster now, I would do it exactly like this, right? So I would create my C++ class, right? And then I would create my actual monster as a child of the C++ class, right? Now, as I said before, I wouldn't necessarily do anything in the C++ class, right? C# is very similar to C++ in a lot of ways, right? I would say, yeah, it is a bit easier. I've written a game in C#, but anyway, and C++ is a bit more It's a bit more pernickety, put it that way. Right, but you can see here that I've got my function, right? And I can just basically write my function in here. And if I want it to return something or not, blah blah. Right? So the interesting thing we could do here is we could actually do something with it, right? So let's do a thing with it. Right, so we'll call it, let's say let's say float, right? And I don't actually know if we need to put a static in there or not. We might, but we'll try it anyway. And then we'll just say return 1.97f. Can we do that actually? Not sure. Well, I'll tell you what we could do, right? We'll do it the simple way, right? We'll say float. We'll say f value equals 1.97f. Right, and then we'll say f value, and I believe that's not a void either, so that's going to be float, right? No, you can do Steam with you can do multiplayer in Steam with blueprints. You do actually. You need to add. It's not C++. Well, it may be C++, but you'll not see it as that. You do need to add it to your plugins, right? Right. So that built. So that's okay, right? So now, if we come down here, you'll notice we've got a return value, right? So we can basically say print string, right? Save that, right? Then we can go to our maps. We can add a breakpoint, right? We went to our maps. We're going to our test map. Save selected. I'll show you in a minute, like a mark, right? Right, so what we want to do now is go to our monsters, right? And basically, if we add our new monster, which is this one here, if I can find my cursor, right? We add that there, right? And if we press play, we have hit a breakpoint. Where is it? Apparently. Ah, god damn it. Okay, I'm going to minimize that. Where the bloody hell did it go? Right, there it is. Okay. So there is our 1.97. Okay. We've done our thing. We can look in our thing. There is our 1.97. That's where that number's coming from. Okay. So that was me basically creating a C++ class of a character. Good night, Quit. Have a good sleep. Right, so here we're passing back our 1.97 in our function called do a thing. We're returning the f value. The f value is 1.7. Right, so when we look in here, we're returning the value and it's 1.97. Okay, and you can see that we've successfully run this through the C++. Okay, so hopefully that taught you something. Right, now for the benefit of lack of mark, we're going to have a look at our plugins. Right, now depending on the version you're using, these are going to be different. If you're using Unreal Engine 5, it's a bit iffy if it's going to work or not. Right, I've got to tell you that. Installed. Is it under network? No, it's not under network. Other. Not under other. I'm going to take this out. It's not under that. It's not under terrain. I can't remember what this is called. And in actual fact, I don't think I've got these installed. Right, these. Yeah, it brings up the two, right? It's, I can't remember what it's called. It's online something or other. Steam Online blah de blah, but I don't think it's in this project, right? I can tell you if it's in this project or not, because I know where to look. Right, if I go to C, this is the project we're looking at, or the directory. This is the project, right? And nope, it's not there. See, it should be in. If that was installed, we would have a plugins folder, and it would be in there, right? Now, what I can do is I can show you what one looks like when it is in there. Right, now remember, you don't need this plugin. You don't need those two plugins to actually access Steam, and I'll show you that in a minute as well. Right, so if we go and have a look at what was it called again? What did they call the goddamn thing? Oh yeah, Chronicles. Right, you'll see there's a folder here called plugins, and it's Advanced Sessions plugin. Right, that's the one you want, Advanced plugin. No, that's not how Steam keys work, mate. Right, so basically you'll have an advanced If you want to do the multiplayer stuff with advanced sessions, then you do the advanced sessions plugin, right, with the version you need. That's nothing to do with a Steam key, right? I'll show you what a Steam key does in a minute. Right, so that's that. So it's advanced sessions is what you want. Now, here's the thing. What we're going to do is we're going to play in standalone. Okay, now if you watch carefully, you will see that Steam comes up, right? But remember, I don't have advanced sessions here, right? I only had it in another project. So, watch here. Okay, it's because I've just loaded this up again. I'll show you what the Steam key is in a minute, like a mark. Now, we have an issue. It didn't come up with the Steam thing. And I think that is because this version, I have not updated the engine any files. Now there's another way to check this, right? Because sometimes it actually doesn't work. And what you can do is, if it doesn't work in standalone and it doesn't work normally and you're like, what the heck is going on here? What you can do is, this always works, okay? If you've got it set up properly, yeah, it is lightning screen Apple, right? What you can do is, you can go to your project file, right, and then right click on it and say launch game, right? And if you do that and you've got Steam set up properly, it'll definitely do it, right? You'll notice that it does it full screen as well here. But it looks to me like we haven't got this file set up to actually access Steam. But we'll soon find out, I suppose. And this is probably going to be the wrong map as well, to be fair. I'll give it a second. Right, you see, it's went to the wrong thing, right? But we have got it set up properly in our C drive. Right, now, what you were talking about, Steam key. It's not a Steam key, it's a Steam application ID, okay? That's what it is. And basically, you only get one once you pay your $100, okay? And it's individual to your game. Now, there is a test one, and it's basically 480, that's it. I'll show you where you put it. Right, now you have to kind of add this to your project when you actually zip it up and upload it to Steam. You have to have the ID, right? But there's a couple of places you put it, right? And it's basically Wait till I think about this. My brain is going... doesn't want to play. Right, but if we go into C drive, then we open up our project and we look at our config files, right? In our, I believe it's here, right? Is it? No. Right, this is built for you. You don't need to worry about that. Is it default engine? Yes, that's correct, Lackamark. Where the hell is this? Right, this is actually basically what you need to do. CS Online Subsystem and Steam and stuff. This is what you need to do to set up Steam, right? Not advanced sessions, right? That's advanced sessions is a different thing. Now you'll notice here it's got Online Subsystem Steam, and then it's got Steam Dev App ID, right? And then when you get your number, you put it in here, right? 480 is the test one, okay? It's Space Wars, right? So when you're developing, you always give it this number, 480, okay? And you'll notice that when I run this in standalone, right, we're going to have to stop that for now. And we're going to open up our test map. No. You can do as much as you want. Right? It's literally, it took me about a week to do my previous game, to get everything, because there's so many things that you need to do, right? You've got to fill in like adult content stuff, what it's got, what it's not got. You've got to fill out all the images that you're going to use, all in different sizes, and like the banners, the page, you know, your like the images for if it's on this tab or on that tab, or what videos you've got, and blah blah, and all the screenshots you've got, and then all of these special sized banner images, and then you've got to fill in like your company details if you've got a company, or if it's a sole trader, individual, blah blah blah, your bank account details. You've got to do all of that. It literally took me about a week to fill it all in, right? But when you've filled in the Steam stuff, and I'm not talking about advanced sessions here, which is an entirely different thing, which I have used, by the way, you'll notice we'll get a Steam thing. Now, the other thing is, Steam has to be running. If Steam's not running, it won't come up, okay? Yes, they do all that stuff, yep. You've got to put in your tax stuff, all of that. Everything that you can think of that you would do as a business, you've got to do it on Steam, right? You've got to fill it all in. It'll automatically do start the tax stuff for you, but you still got to fill it in to say if you're American, if you've got a, you know, can't remember what you guys call it, your sort of tax number. Or if you're from another country, blah blah blah. Yeah, you've got to do it all. But I mean, once you've done it once, that's you for every game, basically. Right, you'll notice that Steam didn't come up, right? Which means that Steam is not running. Okay? So if I start Steam up, right, that should be, yep, that's us up and running, okay? So we forget about this, we don't care. Right, so if I press play now, no, you don't have to pay anything monthly. It's a one-off payment per app. Right, it's $100. Right, they take 30% of whatever you earn. So if you don't earn anything, you don't pay them. Right, but it's automatically taken off you anyway. Right. Now we should get the Steam thing coming up. Yeah, that's correct, Lacquer Mark. Right, where's the Steam thing? There we go. Access the Steam community, right? Then it comes up with the remote play together and everything like that. Then if I hit shift and tab, it'll bring up my overlay, right? But you'll notice that it says that I'm playing Space War, okay, which is the application 480, right? This is the test one that everybody uses, right? To test Steam is working correctly. Okay? So you can see that I didn't have advanced sessions, but I am still actually connected to Steam because I've set up all the stuff. It's $100 per game. Then 30% of your earnings. Right, so that just shows you Steam working. As I said, you need to update your engine, I believe, engine file, config file. So yeah, pretty cool, huh? We can obviously hide it again, back to the game, blah blah blah. You can obviously do this for Epic as well, right? I've never done it for Epic, and the only reason I would do it for Epic is if they paid me a big huge bag of money, even though I'm using Unreal Engine. Right, but you can see our displacement and all that crap. As I said, that was working earlier, if you remember rightly, that was working earlier with a C++ function, doing some of the calculations for us. And I think I'm going to call it there. So if you've enjoyed the stream and you've learned something tonight, hit like and subscribe. I'll be back tomorrow, 2 PM, as usual. That's Central Time. Hope to see somebody there. Check out the description for links to the game's Discord, my personal Discord, where I answer questions and stuff, help people out. Also my Patreon. And my previous game on Steam, there's a link to that as well as to our website. So thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it very much. See you tomorrow. Bye bye for now.